Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the drivers of the Tobacco Road Cup Series are going around the Coliseum here at Bristol. 146,000 virtual fans fill the stands, and it's going to be one heck of a night. We are, of course, at Bristol. You did indeed see that. Bristol, Tennessee opened in July of 1961. It's a very impressive half-mile track, one of the most iconic and prestigious NASCAR tracks we have ever seen. 24 to 28 degrees of banking in these corners, flattening out to 3 degrees on the straights. I told you 146,000 people can file in here, making it a true spectacle in the world of motor racing. Ladies and gentlemen, my name, Mac Nelson. I will be one of your commentators in the booth. I am your producer as well. With me, broadcast partner Emmett Crow. Emmett, it's going to be one heck of a night. What are you looking forward to here?
Good evening to you, Mac, and good evening to you viewers as well. I'm looking forward to a little boot scoop boogie action, going to use the chrome horn. But, Mac, we are at the last great Coliseum. Last year we had the Speedway Classic with both the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. And then also, back in 2012, we had the Bristol Showdown between Virginia Tech and Tennessee. Mac, it's Bristol, baby.
It is indeed Bristol, baby. It's going to be one heck of a time. This amazing drone shot brought to us by TrackCams22. That's TrackCams for gourmets. TrackCams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer NEXUS broadcast. We are in week number 5 here. Bristol, 225 laps. We're going to have 4 total sets of rubber. Next week we'll be off. The week after that, I believe it lands on March 4th, is going to be Talladega. So that's going to be one heck of a show. Before we get too crazy, though, we need to go through this starting grid. There is your man of the hour, Mr. Blake Cannon. He is going to be on pole. Nate Lesko to his outside. Row number 2 will be Brandon McLaughlin in the 81 and James Johnson in that iconic 48 lows. Row number 3, P5, John Oliverio, with P6 being John Smith. Row number 4, Gary Braylon, that's defending champion. P8, Travis Everett. Row number 5 is going to feature James McRae and GT Irizarry. Row number 6, Chase Copeland and Brandon Lopez. Row number 7, P13, LNG Power Sports owner Joe Bonner and Chad Lancaster. Row number 8, Kyler Adams and Thomas McLaughlin. Row number 9, Chris Perry. And that is going to... All right, take that back. Row number 10, Brad Harris and Ira Kohlhaas in P20. Row number 11, Scott Matthews and Chris Toppings. Now, Emmett, that will be the grid for the race tonight. It's going to be really iconic here. It's going to be very, very difficult for these drivers to have to navigate 225 laps. If you're a driver, Emmett, what do you have to do to stay alive?
Well, we just want to point out, trying to get to that stage break at lap 75 also, but I was talking to Chris Toppings, and he told me, Mac, they're running 50% fuel, so that means they can only go about 90 laps on a fuel run. There's going to be 3 sets of tires over the walls, not counting the ones they have on the car. So tires. No one to hold them, no one to fold, no one to hold. You know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. I know what you mean. iRacing pace car set to pull off here. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Personally, in my opinion, I think we're going to have one heck of a show here tonight. Pace car pulling off its Coliseum. We are green at Bristol.
Yeah, Nate Lesko, coming off that win last week, showing off as he's going to try to take the lead away from the newcomer to the series, Mr. Blake Cannon.
Yeah, Blake Cannon going to be a big, big factor here in this race. He's had very good form ever since arriving to the Tobacco Road Cup Series, but there's a Titan right there leading, Nate Lesko in the 20 NESQUIC. He is something to fear, Emmett. He is quick.
Yeah, he is quick, as just like you said, just like NESQUIC. But, I mean, Lesko, last week just put on a show. Nobody could touch him in that last run. And, talk about Blake Cannon. I mean, this guy finished second at Daytona, and we were like, who is this guy? And then we go to Watkins Glen, and he just stomps the field. So Blake Cannon, kind of that rookie that was an unknown, but now everybody knows who he is.
Yeah, Blake Cannon in that number 44, representing LNG's Power Sports. Very good. Thank them for hopping on board for the stream. LNG's Power Watching LLC. You can see in the top right, business card being flashed up now. If you have any sort of information regarding power washing or, power washing services in the Millersburg, Pennsylvania area, you can contact LNG's Power Washing. They're sure to hook you up. Big battle going on right now, Emmett, between James Johnson and Brandon McLaughlin.
Yeah, big battle definitely going on right now as we're taking a look right here. Hold on a second. For some reason, my windows weren't right. But, yeah, James Johnson able to get around Brandon McLaughlin, and now he's got his eyes set on Blake Cannon.
Yeah, Blake Cannon has to be very careful because in this situation, as we hop on board with Blake Cannon, in this situation, Bristol is a very momentum-based track. If you fall behind the curve in terms of pace, it just seems to be collateral, and you just keep losing position after position. So Blake Cannon's going to have to make sure that that's not really on the board here. I know he wants to chase that win, but he's got to be really worried about maybe dropping spots, because if you drop one, you're more than likely going to drop a lot.
Yeah, you're definitely going to drop a lot, and looking at this card now, I mean, James Johnson's there. If James Johnson, he was real strong last season when they came here. Of course, Joshua Nunez, the one-hit wonder, got his application in that day, Mac, and went out, didn't practice, put down one lap in qualifying, qualified 5th, and then just stomped the field on the second half of the race. It was a really good race, which you can check out right here.
Speaking of applying the day of, in P12, down one spot on the race is going to be Chase Copeland, part of Midwest Sim Sports. Typically in the dirt world, he did lock in top 20 for the World of Outlaws late model series. I apologize, for the iRacing official Dirt Pro Series. So big shout out to Chase Copeland. I also use One of my first seasonal gig jobs was a league that him and Midwest Sim Sports were running. It was called the Dirt Revival Tour. We put in a lot of work on that one, so a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in the broadcasting game for me and Chase Copeland, so glad to see him out here off the dirt, trying to decide if he wants to maybe switch over into that asphalt roll. You never know, but Chase Copeland looking good now in P12. Just in front of him is going to be your points leader in the 27, James McRae. He's got GT Irizarry in front of him. He's got Brandon Lopez behind him. That's going to be contact made with GT Irizarry, and James Johnson is also around. I'm not entirely sure what happened, Emmett.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to hear on the race chatter. Oh, man.
And James Johnson gonna pull back onto the track, not necessarily safely. And the 34 of Chris Perry's gonna run right into him. So let's go back and look at that crash here, as we have a little bit of a nose view. Not exactly what I was wanting to see. Oh, yeah, just a little bit of a snap oversteer.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, just a little bit of snap oversteer, and he tried to correct it and just could not get it corrected. I mean, it's really, really hard to get a car corrected when you're coming out of a banked corner like that if you start to slide. And then he comes up, and, you know, yeah, that was a little bit of an unsafe rejoin, Emmett, but I also think Chris Perry might have just not been paying attention.
Yeah, I might have just had a Natalie Decker moment right there. Did I say that on the air?
Oh, no.
But,
oh, no.
But no, definitely, I think that was not Chris Perry's fault, but James Johnson took the claim during the claim window, so he should be receiving an EOL right now.
Yeah, more than likely going to be receiving an EOL, but he still has damage to get repaired on that 48, so we'll see him there soon. Nate Lesko, Nesquick Racing. He changed it up. It didn't used to be like that. This is a little bit more of a retro vibe here, maybe 90s, early 2000s scheme, but Nate Lesko making it look good. I really like his liveries he brings.
Yeah, definitely got some good. See, I call it. I'm old school. I call them paint schemes, but yeah, definitely. I like it. I like the throwback. You know, maybe just a little more red. I like the red, but maybe just a little bit. And you gotta put the chocolate bunny on there.
Oh, of course. Of course, of course. And while we're paused here, the lights on the pace car still going to be on, so we're going at least one more time around. Lights are going to go out. We're going to take a look at your championship standings. James McRae leads with 228. Travis Everett very close behind with 220. Blake Cannon going to be in P3 with 214. Nate Lesko with 209. And then GT Irizarry and Brandon Lopez both tied for P5 with 202. So a lot of championship implications here tonight. And when we look at the running order especially, James McRae being in P7 has got to be a little bit of a worry because it is so hard to get those positions here at Bristol. And as we go green again, Nate Lesko is going to lead us off. The Coliseum's going to get loud again. We go racing here at Bristol.
Yeah, look at that Blake Cannon right up there, but Travis Everett and John Smith moving into the number 3 spot, getting around McLaughlin, and James McRae's not too far behind.
Yeah, James McRae making up 2 positions on the restart. Also, we've got Chase Copeland here in the 110. He's made up almost 5 spots on the restart, it looks like. He is now chasing down Travis Everett, which I must say, Travis Everett has ops inside of this league. It has been passed down to me that people have requested we show Travis Everett less. I think we show him more. Let's go on board with Travis Everett. Look at him setting the car down into the second lane as we come out of turn number 4. He's chasing down James McRae, but in all seriousness, James McRae is having one heck of a run coming out of this restart.
Yeah, James McRae doing a great job. As they're talking on the race chatter, but yeah, James McRae doing a great job, and you know, finishing third last week at Texas after Nate Lesko won that race, and GT Irizarry, who had trouble early on hitting the wall, finished second. So McRae really coming off strong, but I tell you, Mac, once you win, you get that feeling, and look at Nate Lesko getting that momentum.
Yeah, Nate Lesko, he's trying really hard to kind of compound this good run of form that he has had here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series, winning last week at Texas. Now trying to bring his talents to Bristol. He's leading the race now, but we're only on lap 30. We've got a long way to go, Emmett.
Yeah, and don't look now, but Chase Copeland has cracked into the top 10 in the 7th position. That bright pink and what would you call that? Turquoise, aqua, seafoam? What would you call that, Mac?
I think I'm just gonna wrap it up and call it bubblegum.
Well, let's talk about the blue.
Oh, all right. Kind of like a UNC blue, but maybe just a little lighter, maybe a little bit on the sky side if you're a blue knower or blue enjoyer. Right in front of Chase, James McRae, he's got a little bit of front bumper damage, and we'll get a little bit, we'll see if we can get the Racer Nexus drone out there. Yes, I do believe we can.
Wow.
As you can see, yeah, he's got a little bit of damage on that front bumper. I mean, just minute, just very, very minute damage. But it is there. I'm not entirely sure what he hit.
Well, the thing is, Mac, with this new car, you know, this Gen 7, these things are built like a tank. And, you know, before that damage would hurt you, but I mean, we're at Bristol. We're not at the super speedway. We're not at a mile and a half where aerodynamics come into play. It's Bristol. It's a short track. Wednesday night, not Saturday night. But, you know, you're going to get ruffled up. And if your car ain't looking like that, then you didn't do nothing during the race.
Yeah, John Oliverio now, he is unfortunately down 4 spots, so not entirely the greatest of runs for him here at Bristol. Joe Bonners had a little bit of a moment. We'll go back and take a look. It looks like he had got done hitting the wall. Now as he's coming out of... Oh, yeah, he is
my gosh.
Maybe just...
I think he's got a tire down.
Yeah, I was going to say that front left maybe just not really feeling like working anymore, as he is going to have to take that into the pits and have that LNG Power Sports team work on that. Ira Kohlhaas in P13, up 7 spots. Started this race in P20, now in P13. Pulling the exact same move as Brad Harris, apparently, because he is right in front of Ira. Also up 7 spots. So in P12, the Quack Pack Racing driver in that number 9, chasing down GT Irizarry, which you would think with what we've seen of GT Irizarry on short tracks this year, you would think he'd be, you know, well suited for this race, but down 1 spot, hasn't really got anything going.
Yeah, and GT looked really good at Watkins Glen. You know, I mean, he finished, what, 2nd in that race? And when you think of a short track, you would think of a road course as the cautions go away for a 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Chris Perry might have had a little bit of a moment. We'll go back and take a look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah, hitting the wall, and he's going to get into Chris Toppings. That's not going to be good for Chris Perry. That's going to be the 2nd time he's had damage on that car tonight, so he's got to be really careful that he doesn't junk himself out of this race accidentally.
Yeah, and just, man, I mean, that was a hard hit, and unfortunately, but the good thing is Chris Perry just came on during the claim window and said that was on me, so he'll receive an EOL and start from where he's at.
Yeah, and although Bristol is a very fun track, and I often get memories of me playing, NASCAR '05 through '08
Yes.
on the PlayStation 2 and racing Bristol, it was very, very fun, but when you sit down and you have an actual simulation setting like on the iRacing official service, you come to find out pretty fast that Bristol is a very difficult track to master.
Yes, Bristol is definitely, personally, I ran here in a late model, and it was just like, because you don't want to get past that yellow line, but all the speed is right there on that yellow line, Mac. But just the slightest bit on of your left front tire, if it gets on that apron, it's like you were saying NASCAR '05, chase for the cup, or till '08. Remember, if you got on that apron, you'd be going around, and that's what it does here. Definitely, if somebody tries to spin you out, well, you just save it. You get on the brakes, and you don't go around.
Yep, I agree. So, honestly, for being 43 laps in, only having 2 cautions, it's honestly a little bit of a surprise because I think one of the hardest things to do at Bristol is actually start the race. So, you're all clumped up with all these other drivers, tires are cold. That's when you typically see the cautions come out, is really early in the race whenever these drivers aren't really used to how the tires are going to react in a race setting when they are cold. Which, speaking of cold, it is a night race, so we'll get into the weather. It's not gonna be too cold outside though. 77 degrees still with an 82-degree track temperature now that we have ran a few laps. So it's not really going to be the coldest of tracks. It's definitely got a little bit of temperature in it, but it is going to be very, very grippy out here.
Yeah, definitely going to be very, very grippy. I like that word, grippy. But yeah, it's going to be, it's definitely, the track's really going to rubber up, and these cars are going to be able to stick some moves that we wouldn't expect them to do.
Yeah, so green flag did fly as we were getting a cinematic view there of Bristol. Cars are going to go around and around. John Smith now in the number 47 trying to pursue Blake Cannon in that 44. Blake Cannon, like we said earlier, off to an amazing start since he has got here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. As we see Chase Copeland making a move around the outside of Brandon Lopez. It's going to be a lot of speed. He's carrying into those corners. Tires aren't going to want to grip the fastest, and that's going to be defending champion Gary Brayland towards the back of your screen. That goes end over end. Scott Matthews as well, starting to have a little bit of a spin after the yellow. Whew. That was one heck of a sequence. What a move by Chase Copeland. And we're actually going to go back. We'll take a look at that first. Look at the speed Chase Copeland just carries around the second to third lane. Emmett, that is not easy to do.
Yeah, and that's sorry, I was listening to them talk about this wreck, but yeah, I mean, that's where his dirt racing background comes in. And Bristol, it gets a little slippy and slidey sometimes, so if you got a little late model experience, then it might come into play and help you win.
Yes, sir. Now we'll go back and look at why that yellow flag did indeed come out. We saw it towards the back. Oh, but what we didn't see was GT Irizarry actually getting into the left rear of Gary Brayland. I thought it might have been a self-spin. The car in front of Brayland kind of masked Irizarry. But yeah, Irizarry going to make a little bit of contact. Not malicious, not intentional, of course, but there is going to be a little bit of contact made with the left rear of Gary Brayland.
Yeah, and that's what they're debating right now, as they've called in our race control and our lovely owner, Mr. Rob Campbell.
The GOAT, boss man.
I think, Mac, that might have been a little net code, because there wasn't much contact, and looking back at it, that's too tough to call.
Yeah, unfortunately, netcode, one of the only problems, really, we have with online sim racing. It is online at the end of the day. Not everything is going to be truly one-to-one until we can get some sort of LAN events for iRacing. I know you do it for the last race of the Coke Series each year, NASCAR, but or I guess NASCAR and iRacing, but we got to do more. We got to get this to the next level. We've got to get sim racing as an esport up there with the likes of Counter-Strike, Dota, League of Legends. And the first step is unfortunately going to be LAN events. So we need to get that sorted. Go ahead, Emmett.
So I was going to say they decided to give, after review and everything and the debate, GT Irizarry was given the EOL.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I was going to say. It did look a little bit like it was on the side of GT Irizarry.
Yeah, it was, I mean, that could go either way. I've watched it like 3 times, and, you know, just, I think there was a little contact, actually, as we go back green.
Yeah, a little bit of contact being made. Going green again, 169 laps to go here at Bristol. 52 laps in. It's been one heck of a show so far, Emmett, and that show has really been dominated by 2 people, Blake Cannon and Nate Lesko.
Yeah, Nate Lesko, but now Nate must have hit him because currently in 11th, John Smith now, Mac, showing, you know, John Smith has a lot of speed because we saw him get around James Johnson earlier, take off that 3rd place. But now look at the run that Smith gets there, Mac.
Yeah, going to be a very good run into that corner. I apologize. As we're going around turns 1 and 2 now.
Oh, we got a car slow.
Yeah, Kyler Adams is going to be going into the pit lane. I don't know if that's an intentional pitting or not, but I like that you touched on that. Nate Lesko did indeed go to the pits, and it just pushes the narrative. Well, narrative has a bad word. It's a bad connotation to the word narrative in today's world, so I don't mean it like that, but further pushing the narrative that Nate Lesko loves and thrives on the alternate strategy. Only 3 or 4 cars actually followed him on that pit cycle, so Nate Lesko, once again, it seems like every single week we say this, he is on a strategy of his own, so we're going to have to see if it works out or not.
Oh, we'll have to see that for sure, and this has been a great race so far. Yeah. And, I mean, Lesko, like I said, coming off the momentum of winning last week at Texas, but Blake Cannon is showing the way right now, and he's doing a great job, Mac.
Yep, Brad Harris trying to get by the number 42 of John Oliverio. John Oliverio is in that less advantageous top side, but he is keeping the momentum very, very well. Fixed setup here in the Tobacco Road, so maybe we landed on a setup here tonight that favors that top line running, because it seems that a lot of these cars are getting just a little bit of that extra power coming out of the corner.
Yeah, just a little bit of extra power, and these guys, I mean, with this car, it's just, the short tracks, it's an amazing car, but when you go anywhere else, it's like, eh. But, I mean, and another thing, Mac, I wonder, of course, iRacing is going to have to update this, but we get to see the 750 horsepower package at the short tracks this year.
Oh, yes, that is true. I did indeed forget about that regulation change, so that's going to be really cool to see. Should make short track racing a lot racier, like you say, around those 2nd, 3rd lines.
Yeah, and I believe it's short tracks, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it might be mile and a half, not Echo Park this weekend, but I believe it's mile and a half and short tracks that we get that 750 horsepower package.
Oh, wow. Well, that is cool. That will be cool. I'm glad to see that. John Oliverio going to duck down to the inside. I'm not entirely sure. I believe, yeah, that's the 22 of Joe Bonner. He is on fresh tires now. Or no, he's not on fresh tires. I apologize. He is just trying to get some of these laps back. He is a lap down, so he's going to have to put in extra work if he wants to try to get that lap back.
Yeah, and I mean, we have less than 10 laps. We have 9 laps to go till that stage break, so doing a great job. But, yeah, he's going to have to just to keep that car 1 lap down so he can get that lucky dog when we do get to that stage break. But I'll tell you, Mac, what's going to be interesting is to see who comes in to top off, because, I mean, they can only go 90 laps on a tank of gas on a fuel run. So we'll be a little bit out of that window. But I think if I'm a driver, I'm telling my crew chief's telling me we're coming in, we're getting gas to top off to get past that 90 laps.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that's probably going to be the strategy that everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people are going to try to play. Brandon McLaughlin now has recently been passed by Brandon Lopez. Now he is being hunted, I should say, not on the hunt. He is being hunted by James McRae in that number 27. And James McRae, championship leader, he always seems to find himself maybe a little struggle, like with a little bit of struggle in his grind. He's got a little bit of struggle that he seems like he goes through every single week, but he's the championship leader for a reason. He loves, fighting back and racing from that adversity, and he always finds a way to get a good finish in the end.
Yeah, finds a way every time, and James McRae was pretty fast here last season. Of course, Joshua Nunez took home that win, and I think McRae finished either second or third. Oh, man! McLaughlin goes into the wall.
Yeah, McLaughlin going to go into the wall heavy. That's going to be maybe another position down. Nate Lesko going to try to get past now. He's on that, better, more competitive bottom line. That's going to be an easy overtake for Lesko. Now Brandon McLaughlin has to kind of weather the storm and lick his wounds. He cannot drop too far back before this stage break.
Yeah, and it is going to be 75 because race control has closed the pit, so this will be the stage break right here.
Yep, so throwing that lap 75 stage break, and while we do that, we'll go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the Tobacco Road Cup Series here on Racer Nexus.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Okay, we're going live. Going live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Tobacco Road Cup Series. here on Racer Nexus. Mac Nelson and McCrow in the booth. We just had our yellow flag from the stage break. And here we go. We're back racing, and it's going to immediately be another caution. That's going to be a big, and I mean big, pile up of the field coming out of the start. Woof.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. They're saying that John Smith is going to get the EOL, though.
And we're going to try to shed some light on the situation here, maybe get a little bit of a better view. As it looks like maybe, oh, it happened way more towards the front. As I apologize, we'll go back and take a look.
The 47 just got loose, and that's what he went around, Mac, and that's what happened. But Chris Perry got collected.
Oh, yeah, Brandon Lopez, Chase Copeland, James McRae going to spin. Brad Harris going to get hit. Yeah, that's going to be big. Not as big as I initially thought, but it's going to be big.
Yeah, and they're trying to say that Bonner came down on somebody, but I don't know why they're saying I'm trying to see what happened there. Ooh, Chase Copeland almost went around.
Yeah, Chase Copeland almost went around. He has found his way in the third position in that number 110 CFM car for Midwest Sim Sports. Midwest Sim Sports. Nice little dirt racing team they got over there on the dirt side of things. I know all the higher-ups over there. Very fantastic, good people. Very easy to get along with. As we look forward. Go ahead, Emmett.
So, I was going to say, that is a tough break, though, for John Smith, because he fought his way all the way to second after we got done with the pit stops and Blake Cannon. I want to add, Mac, that Blake Cannon had his black flag cleared along with Chris Toppings, also with Travis Everett.
Okay. So that is good to hear. Blake Cannon no longer going to have to face the consequences of that penalty. So that's going to be good news to hear on the side of Blake Cannon and that number 44 camp, LNG Power Sports. As the field's going to get bunched back up, Emmett, now that we've seen a little bit of chaos, if you're a driver out there, how do you keep your head on straight?
You just got to... On these restarts, you can't spin the tires or, miss a shift, but and it's going to be interesting with James McRae with all that front end damage to keep that car from getting loose, because that car's got to be super loose now. Oh, there goes Chase
Copeland. Yeah, Chase Copeland going to go around on the start. Cautions are breeding cautions here tonight at Bristol, much like we thought it might. We'll take a look.
There goes. Oh my gosh! How did Blake Cannon miss that?
Chase Copeland with a little bit. He had a little bit of a double kind of scare. He got some understeer, initially saved it. And then as soon as he brought his wheel back over, he lost grip again. A little bit of a tap by the one. John Smith going to get into the one as well. Scott Matthews is around as well. So the field will bunch up again. We'll go live again. This is going to be our 6th caution of the night. Lap number 87 of 220 here at Bristol. Man. We've been racing for 33 minutes now. So we should be able to get you guys up and out of here in that hour-and-a-half time slot. Hopefully we can get some green flag runs in for the viewers. Big shout out to you viewers, by the way. You make the cool stuff like our sponsorship with Apex Sim Racing possible. So if you have any inkling, any inclination to get into sim racing, go check out Apex Sim Racing. They've got all the sim racing accessories that you could ask for. They've got bundle builders with some of the best like Moza and Sim Magic. They've also got products that you can buy from those top distributors, or from those top manufacturers, I should say. They are one of the top distributors of sim racing accessories. Make sure you use code RACERNEXUS for 5% off your order. You can get a little bit of a kickback off your price, and we over here at Racer Nexus get a little bit of a kickback to help with the broadcast and such like that. So big shout out to Apex Sim Racing for hopping on board and joining the network. Also big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcast network. Lights on the pace car are out, so it's going to be pulling in here very soon. Nate Lesko and James McRae, two championship rivals behind them. A championship rival as well as the championship defender. That's the crazy starting four. We go green again at Bristol. Gary Brayland, your defending champion, trying to chase down GT Irizarry in that number 14. GT Irizarry has gotten back up. He had a little bit of a struggle to start the race tonight. He has gotten back up to his usual top 3 to top 5 position. Gary Brayland has had a good run of form here tonight at Bristol. He had a little bit of a moment earlier where he slid, and no, the commentators curse. It's gonna happen as soon as I say it, and there's gonna be chaos. Ira Kohlhaas out in front. We are yellow again. Brendan Lopez is around.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Mac, that's going to help Blake Cannon out, because Blake Cannon should go to the lead, because I believe he got the lead before that caution flag came out. Well, not the lead, but got to second before that caution came out.
Yeah, I do believe you might be right. We'll go back and take a look at what exactly happened. Gary Brayland's going to go around. Ira's going to also go around, run into James Johnson. That's going to start a chain reaction. Fortunately, only one car was also collected in the squabble between those two. It was the 42 of John Oliverio. So he is going to go into the pits now. John Oliverio, JC Esports driver in that number 42. He's had moments where he looks very, very in tune with the car, and unfortunately, he's just kind of been collected on 1 or 2 occasions here tonight, Emmett.
I just want to correct myself. Blake Cannon jumped up to 4th because Lesko, McRae, and Irizarry were nowhere near that wreck.
Okay, so Blake Cannon back up into P4, so it's almost like the pit road scuffle, the complexities of entering the pit lane at a certain speed limit, they are not going to haunt Blake Cannon. He is out in P4, 3 positions down, of course. Our pole sitter on the night, Chad Lancaster, who's had a little bit of a quiet night, has silently crept his way up 9 spots into P5, but he is not the biggest mover. Scott Matthews in P9, who has moved up 12 positions, started this race in P21. He is not your biggest mover, because your biggest mover goes to Chris Toppings in the number 12. Quack Pack Racer in that Menards scheme there. Started the race in 22nd position. He's up 15 spots to P7.
Yeah, Chris Toppings doing a great job tonight, and has avoided the contact, kept his nose clean, and finds himself up in there, Mac.
He is doing very, very well for himself. Unfortunately, when we start to think of the biggest movers on the other side of things, we have John Oliverio and John Smith, both down 10 positions each. Pace car pulling off We are set to get ready for an 8th time here at Bristol. Nate Lesko has gotten really good practice reps for starting a race here at Bristol tonight. He starts us again. We are green.
Yeah, Lesko doing a great job keeping that lead, but as McRae's trying to get around there, Zeri, don't count out Blake Cannon, Mac. He's coming, and he's coming fast.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very tricky situation to maneuver if you're Blake Cannon. Well, now James McRae, because James McRae almost willingly put himself into that second line. I don't know if maybe his strategy is to follow Blake Cannon, but Blake Cannon has essentially just been given the keys by James McRae, and he now chases down GT Irizarry, and we are yellow again.
Wow. Take a look and see what happened right here.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Nothing showed up on my timing tower or my event center, so I'm not entirely sure what had happened. We'll try to get you some news here in just a second on what exactly transpired.
Oh, there it is. I found it. Olivero got into the wall.
So we'll go back and take a look at John Oliverio here. As we take a look at the replay, he's going to go try to get around John Smith. He just barely clears it. What a move. Next corner. Things are still seeming to be... Oh, and John Smith. There's unfortunately just nothing John Smith could have done about that. John Oliverio just moving down a line under braking. And, you know, definitely not malicious. I don't think John Oliverio was trying to block. I just think he wasn't really aware that he wasn't clear of the 47.
Yeah, I was not aware of that, and he has been given the EOL.
Yeah, so John Smith gonna move it down the ranks. Joe Bonner, that LNG Power Sports driver, owner of LNG's Power Washing based out of Millersburg, Pennsylvania. You can take a look at the logo there, as well as the business card for LNG's Power Washing. Very good business card. You can see their email address, their socials, their phone number. Take a picture of it. It's not going to be up too much longer. Your best source for power washing in Millersburg, Pennsylvania is gone. You missed it. But don't worry, we'll be flashing it up as the night goes on. Nate Lesko, I'm sure, is very, very tired of all these cautions, Emmett.
Oh, definitely. I think he is for sure. And I think GT Irizarry is as well, you know, and James McRae, because they haven't got to see what their car could do. And well, we had the long green flag run, but they just haven't seen how this car handles in a long run. And got to be thinking, Mac, they might be setting it up in a couple next pit stop for a short run.
Yeah, Nate Lesko obviously going to be on some sort of different strategy. We see it almost every single week. For the 9th time tonight, ladies and gentlemen, here at Bristol, we are green. 117 laps to go here at Bristol. We've done 104. And there's another caution. Gary Brayland and the 0-2 of Chad Lancaster are going to go around.
Wow. We didn't even get a lap. Just like we were talking about, Mac. But the thing is, Blake Cannon has moved into the number 2 spot.
Yeah, if you're Blake Cannon, you're loving all of this as we go back and take a look. Just 2 cars coming to the same real estate on the track. Nothing you can really do about that. I thought the outcome was a little extreme for how light the actual hitting was between the 2 cars. But these race cars, especially here at Bristol, it can get tricky with the bankings.
Yeah, and I think why we didn't see any malicious contact, like not malicious, but you know, like hard contact, is both those guys were probably stomping on that brake pedal just not to hit that wall, and that's why they just barely touched.
Yeah, now Nate Lesko, who has went into the pits. I failed to see that. Nate Lesko into the pit lane. He pitted on lap, what I believe was 42. Now he has pitted on lap 107. John Smith going to be pitting as well.
So Irizarry stays out along with Copeland, McRae, Lopez, Everett, Harris. They all stay out. The only ones that pitted were Lesko,
McLaughlin and James Johnson.
Yeah. I had to look there for a minute.
So yeah, those three guys going to be pitting. McLaughlin and James Johnson going to be trying to follow maybe the weird, unorthodox pit strategies that Nate Lesko does bring to the table here every single week in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. But Blake Cannon opting to stay out. He hasn't pitted since lap 77, so he's currently sitting on 30-lap old tires. Only 4 total sets of rubber here, Emmett. So do you think Blake Cannon's using those tires wisely?
Well, just like I was saying, no, you got no one to fold them, no one to hold them, no one to fold them. And yes, he is definitely using those tires wisely. And I mean, he has been dry. I mean, you got to think about it though, Mac. I mean, there might be 30 laps on those tires, but we've ran probably what, 30 caution laps. But
yeah,
you know,
yeah. That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So keeping those tires cool, doing a great job. And I think Lesko's just pitting for fuel these last few stops.
Yeah, I would definitely see Nate Lesko as the guy to hold out on some tires until the end. Meanwhile, we go green here again at Bristol. It's going to run Cannon, Irizarry, Copeland, McRae, and Everett. Travis Everett's had a little bit of a quiet night. We'll see what he can do now that we've kind of hopefully settled in to, you know, the halfway point of this race. We start the latter half of the race with this next lap. So halfway through, a lot of these drivers probably fed up with how many caution laps they've ran. But your leader here, Blake Cannon, I can tell you right now, has loved every second of it.
Yeah, he's definitely loved every second of it. And so far, we're good through that lap back.
Yeah, Chase Copeland now in P2. His debut night here in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. Filled out his application to join the league just a few hours ago. And now running in second as we cross the halfway point here at the race tonight. We'll fly in your schedule here for a second so we can see exactly what you can expect. It's going to be an off week next week. But March 4th, we come back and it's 65 laps at Talladega. And then we go North Wilkesboro for 200, Homestead, Miami for 135, Nashville for 140. So an interesting string of the next 3 races here, or next 4 races, I apologize, Emmett.
Yeah, definitely, you know, Talladega, the super speedway, North Wilkesboro, the short track, and then look at that, Mac, 2.5 miles back to back, and then back to the short track of Richmond, then another 1.5 miles at Kansas, and then, of course, the Roval, followed by Auto Club.
Yeah, so it's going to be very cool to see how the drivers can adapt to all the different track styles. We have GT Irizarry now trying to work his way around Chase Copeland. He's trying to almost maybe bully Chase off that first line. He wants to just be able to squeeze that car down in there. But look at the 27 of James McRae flying past.
Yeah, and you know, with all that front end and that nose caved in like that, I don't think it might not be hurting the temperature. Oh, there goes Brandon Lopez.
Yeah, the 5 of Brandon Lopez going to go around, but no harm, no foul. I believe we're going to try to stay green here. I'm sure race control Rob Campbell trying to call it a little more, I guess, I don't even know the word to describe it, but he's trying to throw less yellows. James McRae now being pressured by the 13 of Travis Everett. He's forced to move down into that bottom line to also block from GT Irizarry. Look at James McRae. He's basically 1v2ing right now.
Yeah, but James McRae doing a good job. But I just want to add, Brandon Lopez did not go around Mac. He made an incredible save to not have a caution. So great job by Brandon Lopez.
Oh, wow, yeah, cool stuff on the side of Brandon Lopez. I wasn't really aware. I thought maybe he had spun it, but good save from him. This battle between McRae and GT Irizarry is heating up, and Irizarry's going to turn McRae. The 9 of Brad Harris is going to survive, and Travis Everett, before that, squeezed through and nearly had a Colossus, maybe night-ending wreck, but he is going to get past. Wow.
And Brandon Lopez, I think he, more than anybody, wanted to see that caution because he had dropped. Oh my gosh, Nate Lesko has disconnected.
Well, Nate Lesko not in the session anymore.
Wow.
As we'll go back and take a look. Oh, yeah, GT Irizarry is just going to have a little bit of a spin. He's going to go around, catch James McRae. Oh. I mean, that was
I was going to say.
Oh, yeah, Nate Lesko. Look at Nate Lesko. Wow, that's why he disconnected. He went end over end. He's got to go see the medical tent.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, Mac. I caught that at the tail end. Oh, my gosh. Up on his roof.
Now, we'll go back and take a look at it all from Nate Lesko's view. We're actually going to go on board, see exactly what happened. You can see, I mean, it's just a wall of cars. Oh, no. And then he's going to get ran into. Oh, no. Luckily, we've got the self-stabilizing gyro cam. But let me tell you, Nate Lesko's eyesight isn't a stabilizing gyro cam. I'm sure he's feeling a little sick right now.
Yeah, definitely one of the, I mean, if not the two. Wow. Get that. I was taking another look, but yeah, Nate Lesko, this was his race to lose.
Yeah, Nate Lesko looked to be maybe on top of the world here at Bristol, but now it falls on Blake Cannon, your original pole sitter here tonight. He sits in P1. Chase Copeland right behind him in P2. So a nice little debut run for Chase Copeland, and it's the new guys, Cannon and Copeland, who are the front two in this race, Emmett.
Yeah, and I want to say something. You know, we were talking about Joshua Nunez earlier, one in his debut here. He was also driving a pink and turquoise car, so little superstition going on with that pink and turquoise.
Oh, wow. Will history repeat itself here tonight at Bristol? Now that you say that, that's a really, really cool little connection there. Can we see something like that happen here tonight? Meanwhile, iRacing official pace car going to pull off. We are green again for what I believe might be the 12th time tonight. We go racing at Bristol, and look at Travis Everett right on the back end of Blake Cannon. He's going to take that spot away from Chase Copeland almost immediately after the green flag flies.
Yeah, it takes a spot away as McRae is going to try to get under Smith for the fourth position, excuse me. He's going to complete that, and then Scott Matthews moved and Chad Lancaster jockeying as Gary Braylon has also gotten into that picture for that, let's see, what for that sixth position. I didn't think about it there for a minute, Mac.
Yeah, P6 going to go to Scott Matthews in the number 7. He is currently up 15 spots, so he is going to be your current biggest mover on the day. Scott Matthews, someone who, unfortunately, we normally see collected in a wreck sometime around here. So I hope that my commentator curse it's going to be the opposite of what I say. So hopefully Scott, well, I can't say it actually because then I just reverse everything I just tried to do. So James McRae in the number 27 Camry trying to work his way up on Chase Copeland, but he is 0.8 seconds. That's 0.8. And now Chase Copeland's
Oh my
around
gosh.
again.
Wow.
Chase Copeland was running fantastically here tonight at Bristol. We'll go back and take a look. Maybe a little bit of a netcode contact between him and Travis Everett. It's going to be the exact same thing that got him in the first time. He got the snap oversteer, tried to correct it, immediately went back to the slip angle he was in, and is around and around. Very, very hard to catch a car once it's spinning here at Bristol.
Yeah, Scott Matthews. Oh, man. Bonner also involved, but I think he was all right until Matthews tagged him in the back.
Yeah, we'll go back and take a look at it again.
Well, Mac, I just want to say, you tried not to speak it into existence, but it happened to Scott Matthews.
Oh, Scott Matthews did end up getting... Dang, yeah, wow. That's
You're good.
crazy. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good at this. I'm good at this commentator's curse thing. You know,
Doesn't look to be too bad.
as Blake Cannon now having the lead still, he's got a new competitor behind him this time. It's going to be Travis Everett in that number 13 as Chase Copeland slides back to P11, which is exactly where he started this race at. But back towards the front, it's going to be Cannon, Everett, McRae, Smith, and Matthews for your top 5. And we're getting down. We've got about 85 laps to go, I believe, if my math serves me correctly. Emmett, what are you thinking? If you're coming down, we're on our 11th caution. What's the mindset? What's the frame of mind? How do you finish this race?
Well, you know, we were worried about 90 laps for a fuel run, but, I mean, you could turn the car off and on under caution to save fuel, so, you know, we may be able to make this fuel run stretch out.
Yeah, especially if we keep having the number of cautions we've had here so far. I definitely agree. I think drivers, I mean, I hope not. I hope we go green. I hope some cool stuff happens. However, we have to make an assessment based off what we've seen. And if these cautions keep coming, yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think some of these drivers might be able to make it how they are now on fuel.
The crazy thing also, Mac, just a little tidbit, Racer NEXUS. This was the first broadcast where we had 2 commentators, and Rob Campbell was producing. So that was the first race that we introduced that into. So kind of a full circle moment here at Bristol.
Yeah, we're going to go green again. 84 laps to go here at Bristol. It's been one heck of a show here tonight. Anything can happen. I think that's what we've learned so far, Emmett. Anything can happen. And Gary Brayland is trying to work his way up on the 47 of John Smith.
Yeah, Gary Brayland from Quack Pack Racing. We'll let you know about a story about that in a couple weeks when we head to Talladega. But Gary Brayland showing why he's the defending champion. And this was the race, Mac, where he really got that advantage. He finished P3 in that race, and it really helped him in the points. So if he has a strong race tonight, Gary Brayland could be looking at another championship.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we'll flash the points up here very, very shortly here. Gary Brayland going to be in P10 in the points right now. So he's got a 58-point gap to P1 in the championship. So it all starts right here. We've still got over half the season left until we get down to our chase. So yeah, Gary Brayland, he has got amples of opportunity here coming down the season, coming down the calendar.
Yeah, I'm just hearing that word chase, and let the viewers know also that we are using the new point system. New, old, you know, the point system that NASCAR went back to, which is unbelievable and so refreshing.
Yeah, I agree. Very, very refreshing. It seems like the world of asphalt oval racing, especially with NASCAR, is starting to heal. We're still a little ways away, but it is starting to heal. As the number 47.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Emmett.
I was gonna say, somebody said, they're talking about the asphalt world is dead, but then they were like, did you see the fans at Daytona? That place was packed. So who knows? But I mean, we had the half throttle 500, but the thing is, NASCAR could be back on the rise, Mac, especially with this new point system.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to make
hope
every
so.
single race interesting. It's going to make every single race feel a lot more impactful when it comes to that championship. It's going to make it seem like truly the best driver wins.
Yes, it's not going to be, a fluke win and you're in, and you have to win or finish above everybody in the positions in that championship four. I love that we went back to the chase, and just that word chase, oh man, you talking about feeling good.
Speaking of Chase Copeland in P12. He's starting to have a little bit of a struggle here at Bristol. He ran very, very good. Very, very well, I should say. My third grade phonics teacher would be very mad at me that I just said that.
You're all right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I approve because, being from Oklahoma, I definitely approve. But while we were talking about that, Mac, Brandon McLaughlin was able to drive past Blake Cannon for the lead.
Yeah, Brandon McLaughlin, who, interestingly enough, has had 8 different pit stops in this race compared to Blake Cannon, who has had 2.
Yeah, McLaughlin's been involved in a lot of those cautions, but also, I mean, yeah, we're seeing, the strategy right here in front of us, and so far it's working for Brandon McLaughlin.
Yeah, Brandon McLaughlin doing a very good job. He's starting to kind of stretch out that lead on Blake Cannon as well. I'll be interested to see where exactly this battle goes as we boil down.
Wall. Yeah, I just saw the slight wall contact right there as McLaughlin tags the wall. I'm going to get it right one of these days, Mac.
Yeah, maybe. Personally, I wouldn't bet on it, but I hope. I genuinely hope. Gary Braylon now in P5, still being chased by John Smith. John Smith not rocking the typical 47 Chick-fil-A livery that we saw for the first, what I believe was 3 weeks of the season. I believe this is his second week rocking this new scheme. And I must say, John Smith has impressed me a lot, just to be frank. He has impressed me a lot. First 2 weeks of the season, he looked like he was making too rash of decisions when in the race. It looked like he wasn't really using his head completely when making decisions in the late race. But now, John Smith, although he does typically get unlucky and he does get collected in a few things here and there, he has really started to up the form, and I can tell he's getting in the lab and practicing.
Yeah, I just gotta say, I bet you Pocahontas has been tuning into these races for John Smith to do great.
Yeah.
I had to do it.
That's funny. That's funny, yeah. Little historical joke for you guys there, if you're old enough or young enough to remember your U.S. history class back in middle school and or high school. But someone who's probably not too brushed up on their American history is going to be Gary Braylon, defending champion, considering he is Canadian. From the Great North, go Toronto Raptors. Defending champion Gary Braylon is going to be your only Canadian on the grid tonight if you don't count Mr. Rob Campbell up in the booth. Chase Copeland going to just flat out lie to iRacing and say he's from Morocco. He is indeed not from Morocco, I can assure you that. But iRacing,
he does not look like he's from Morocco.
iRacing getting rid of the club system. It came with some, fairly harsh reviews from customers on the iRacing official service. If you don't know, iRacing, back before, about a year ago, I think is when it took place, you had a club based on your location when you registered, and that was your club. You represented your club. You repped your set every single race you went in. Now they went to a flag system, which is fine. Flag system is completely okay. iRacing is an international phenomenon. It is a global, simulator experience for everyone, but you can change it whenever you want to anything you want. So that came with a little bit of backlash from fans, but Brandon McLaughlin struggling here with the 81. He's pushing his car up on corner entry. It is going to result in a better run coming down the straights. But Emmett, I think the inside line, especially with where we are in the race now, I think the inside line is just better.
Yeah, the inside line is definitely rubbered up, but I don't know, Mac. Well, as Brandon McLaughlin. Oh, save it! Oh, man.
He's going to spin and get into the 13, Emmett.
Yeah, definitely. But I was going to say something. So when they did the club, I did not know what that meant. And I would be going around and I'd see a driver, from North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas and everything. Well, then I was like, why isn't mine showing my state? And then I went, and I guess for Oklahoma and Kansas, they just deemed it the Plains. That's what they called it, the Plains.
Yeah, I remember that. Me being in Kentucky, I was always a Mid-South driver. That was the club they put me in. And I got really confused when I first joined the iRacing service, as a lot of cars are coming into the pits. I got confused because I would see in my road races, I'd see DE-AT-CH. I always saw that club, and I never knew what it meant. It took me until I looked it up that I think it means Germany, which is Deutschland. That's the DE. AT is the Austria, and I can't remember what the CH is. Liechtenstein comes to my head, but at the same time, I don't believe Liechtenstein's a big enough country to warrant being in the same grouping as Germany and Austria. So, yeah, I can't remember the CH one, but I always thought it was so weird that, yeah, like basically exactly what you said. Sometimes in the U.S., your state would be your club name, but then, like for me, in Kentucky, I was Mid-South. So, I think it's definitely a cult following kind of thing to, go by the club names, but I think it's definitely a good decision that they brought in the flags, and I just wish you couldn't change them. I think that's a little troll. That's kind of breaking the immersion of the official driving simulator, in my opinion.
I wish you could do your state flag. Of course, I love repping the USA, but, I don't know, there's just something about, repping your state flag. Because, I mean, like you're saying, iRacing is an international phenomenon, and it's really cool. Like today, I was racing in a street stock race with some French guys, some Brazilians, stuff like that, and it's really cool. But there's just something about being able to put that flag on there and rep your state over your country. I hate to say that, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain.
I get what you're saying, but also, if they had state flags, they'd have to include, the minor, whatever they equivalent to states in the EU. I can't remember. I don't remember what exactly their names are, but anyway, yeah. So I get it. It would be kind of cool to see the state flag, but I get it. Now, Ira Kohlhaas is going to be up 19 spots, going to lead us. Ira Kohlhaas staying out on the last pit stop. So, Ira Kohlhaas not going to have the fresh tires or topped off on gas like these other cars have. I assume that number one car is going to be falling back position after position. Lap number 172, Emmett. We just crossed over 50 laps to go, or I guess I should say under 50 laps to go now. If you're Blake Cannon, what's the goal here? What's the objective?
Maintain your car because, as we almost had one right there, but I was just about to say, there's probably, I mean, if you're Blake Cannon, you got to be thinking, oh, James McRae's dropping like a rock. But I was going to say, you got to be expecting a caution.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think with how many cautions we've had here tonight, I think it only makes sense that we indeed have more. I hope we do not, as Blake Cannon going to rub the wall just a little bit there, coming down the straight. Travis Everett now showing some newfound pace here. He is now chasing down the 44 of Blake Cannon. It'll be interesting to see how these two go to blows here. It's happened many times over the few weeks that Blake Cannon has been in the Tobacco Road Cup Series. But Travis Everett, always one of those guys who can chase down anybody and will chase down everybody on the grid.
Yeah, Travis Everett, I mean, if you're a rep out there and you're from Black Rifle Coffee, send this guy for
Get this man some coffee.
Yes, yes. Get him some coffee. Get him some. You know, Mac, we've been talking about all these schemes that Travis Everett's ran with Black Rifle, but we have yet to see the GOAT, the Tacta-Squatch on the front of that car.
Yeah, the Tacta-Squatch. That is indeed my favorite. Yellow flag is going to come out. It's going to be our 13th caution of the night. Brandon Lopez had a little bit of a moment with Gary Braylon. We're going to go back and take a look at it.
Oh, man.
And I got
GT
the slow-mo.
also involved.
Oh, and then it's gonna develop some more. Brandon Lopez is gonna go around after all said and done. GT Rosario is gonna catch a little bit of contact. Looks like that is going to be all, though. So not really a big collection, just a few cars that were affected by that wreck. So we go yellow, lap 179 of 220.
I just want to point out, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I was speaking to Scott Matthews before the race, and he was like, go ahead and ask us how the race is going to be. And I said, how? And he said, it's going to be fantastic. He said, y'all are going to be busy tonight. And let me tell you, Scott Matthews, he was not wrong.
Yeah, he was not wrong. As we get ready to start our race here for the 14th time. Ira Kohlhaas back up into P3 after a little bit of a shady, shifty start. Dropped down to what I believe was P5 before gaining those 2 positions back, making it up into P3. So for Ira Kohlhaas, it's got to be a game about management and a game about defense. You're on the older tires. You're on less fuel. If you're Ira Kohlhaas, I think the objective, the goal here, is to just keep that car painted to the yellow line and make them pass you on the outside.
Yeah, definitely. You know, as this race goes on, Mac, I mean, Ira Kohlhaas could be in the best position to keep his position as we get these cautions, but Chris Topping's league admin owner just came over and said now it'll just be iRacing cautions from here on out.
Okay, so iRacing official cautions only. Our man in the race control role, Mr. Rob Campbell, the boss man, the commish of Racer Nexus. He is going to not touch the button. He's not going to throw any yellow flags anymore. It's going to be all on the iRacing official, you know, whatever you would call that, algorithm, API, whatever. I'm not knowledgeable on that stuff, but the formula, the equation, maybe. But lights are going to be out on the pace car here. Blake Cannon still out in front. He's got challengers behind, but to be honest, with how many cautions we've had here tonight, there might be a little bit of damage on every single one of these cars, but I don't believe Blake Cannon has been touched once here tonight. We go back green at Bristol.
Yeah, and I just want to add back, the superstition is over because Chase Copeland has left the session. There goes John Smith.
Oh, and John Smith gonna go around. It's gonna be a yellow flag again. Wait, no, John Smith. Yeah, John Smith did indeed go around, I do believe. We'll go back and take a look at that just real quick. Yeah, Gary Braylon gonna get into the left rear of him just a little bit. And
I
that,
was wondering, because I saw Chad Lancaster just come up and hit Brad Harris in the back, but I think he didn't hear that there was a caution, and then he saw it, and that's why he got into the back of Harris, came over the radio, and apologized right away.
yeah, so going to be another caution out as we take a look at the Coliseum here at Bristol. 146,000 fans can pack in here, and just what a sight, man! What a spectacle.
It's the last great Coliseum. I can't believe they played a baseball game in here. Wish it would have been under the lights, but it wasn't. But the Battle for Bristol showdown between Tennessee and Virginia Tech, which was pure cinema, was amazing looking. I mean, not to take away from the Speedway Classic, and it was pretty cool, Mac, that MLB 25, the show, integrated the field. So you got to go play at the Speedway Classic, hit up a couple bombs. I was trying to hit it out to the grandstands, but it got as far as the outside wall.
Well, you're doing better than me because I promise I probably could not hit a baseball going faster than maybe 3 miles an hour.
Yeah, but that's in a game. I couldn't do that now. If we went to the batting cage in the 40-mile-an-hour, I may hit 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. You give me 100 mile-per-hour pitches, I promise you I'm hitting 0. You give me 1,000,000, I'm hitting 0.
Even if you bunt, you're not hitting any.
Yeah, no. We don't bunt around here, though. iRacing official pace car set to pull in, and much like Blake Cannon, a home run is going to be what's on the menu here tonight. If you're in baseball, you go up to bat. A lot of the times, not every time, but a lot of the times, it's going to be you want to hit that ball out of the park, and that's exactly what Blake Cannon needs to do here. He needs to get out and ahead of everyone. He needs to hit a home run here. He needs to win this race. We go green here again at Bristol.
Yeah, and Ira Kohlhaas hanging tough in that third position for the moment, as James McRae is actually going to make the pass. So Kohlhaas running in the top 5, Mac, on those older tires. I don't know how he's keeping it, but the cautions are definitely helping.
Yeah, Ira Kohlhaas somehow managing to keep it in P4, pitted on lap 124. We're on lap 189 now. Yeah, the cautions are definitely going to help, but 31 laps to go, and we've still got a lot of heavy hitters here in this top 5. Irizarry, McRae, Cannon, and Everett, all championship rivals, all with the dreams of capturing a Tobacco Road championship. And if you're the likes of Travis Everett, who has now gotten out ahead of Blake Cannon, you must be feeling good.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about, this being the Tobacco Road Sim Racing Next Gen Cup Series, I've not yet to see either a Duke car or a North Carolina car on the track.
Yeah, that is interesting. I haven't seen it either. You would think that you'd see, something a little more, local relative to, the Tobacco Road, where that lies. But you really don't. You see a lot of drivers, they're getting creative. They're bringing good liveries out, but nothing really on theme with, like you said, Duke, North Carolina, all that stuff around the North Carolina area.
I will add, though, Quack Pack Racing, one dog has a UNC shirt on and the other one has an NC State shirt on. So there's a little, a little incorporation with Tobacco Road, but I mean, not with NC State, obviously.
Yeah. So Travis Everett, Blake Cannon going to battle here. James McRae trying to join. He's trying to become a part of it. But unfortunately, his pace is not going to be exactly up to snuff, running about 0.2 per lap. slower than Everett and Cannon. Here we go. Blake Cannon around down the inside of Travis Everett. Travis Everett really liking that second and third line here tonight, Emmett, and it just goes to show I think we might have got a setup here catered to, you know, the mid-track to the high.
Yeah, it's just been just great racing side by side right here between Blake Cannon and Travis Everett. And you know, we were talking about James McRae, Mac. I gotta be thinking that damage on that front end, since that nose is so caved in, that's gotta be playing a factor.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of my thought process, as well as the guys. Blake Cannon gonna get a little squirmy trying to get around Chris Toppings in that number 12 Menards. That was crazy. What a save by Blake Cannon. Now, unfortunately, because of that, Travis Everett is out in the open road. He's got a 3/4 second lead over Blake Cannon. He's going to try to stretch that out. Blake Cannon now with maybe a little bit of a Code Brown moment, because there's 20 laps left here. About what I believe is going to be about 8 minutes of racing. So Blake Cannon has got no time. Go ahead, Emmett.
I was going to say, what were you saying about Blake Cannon home run? He definitely has to hit one now as James Johnson bounces on, and he gets it. Oh, my gosh. James Johnson goes around just like we were just talking about, Mac.
Oh, yeah, James Johnson going to go around. He collects the 12 of Chris Toppings and Brandon Lopez. Looks like John Oliverio might be, yeah, a little bit of a tap to the back of Brandon Lopez as well. Wow. It has been pure chaos here tonight at Bristol.
But if you're Blake Cannon, this is what you wanted right here.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. If you are the likes of Blake Cannon, one of those championship, or not championship, I'm sorry, one of those race leading figures, like Everett, like Cannon, like McRae, it all kind of shifts. If you're leading the race, you want it to stay green. If you're in second or third, you want there to be caution after caution until you get to the lead, and then it's all just a circle at that point. If you're in the lead, you want it to stay green, but if you're not in the lead, you want it to go yellow. Lap cars getting their lap back, coming around now.
Yeah, GT Arizari surrendering his 5th position to come into the pits.
Yep, GT Irizarry, Brandon McLaughlin, James Johnson, all going to be coming into the pit lane. Going to be their final stop of the night, as we see. As I apologize, something happened on my end there for just a second. That was a little weird. Switching gears to the front, Travis Everett in that number 13 Mustang, part of Outsiders Racing. He is teamed up with GT Irizarry and Scott Matthews. So the 7, the 13, and the 14. Unfortunately, he's not going to have any teammates near him. It's going to be kind of a free-for-all when you get into the top 3. Travis Everett, Blake Cannon, and James McRae. None of those guys really on each other's teams there. James McRae, part of JC Esports. Travis Everett, part of Outsiders Racing, as we said before. And Blake Cannon, of course, the LNG Power Sports driver with James Johnson and Joe Bonner. Joe Bonner and James Johnson are going to be right beside each other, P12 and P13, once they get bunched back up. But unfortunately for Blake Cannon, he is not going to have the same look.
Yeah, and Ira Kohos has yet to come into the pits. Still out on those old tires, Mac.
Yeah, we're going to go green again. Travis Everett with what looks like an incredible start. I mean, everybody kind of fell asleep at that one except for Blake Cannon.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's going to be a 2-car battle coming down to the wire here, Emmett. 13 laps this time by. Well, what do you think? What's going through your head if you're Travis Everett? Also, what's going through your head if you're Blake Cannon?
Well, if you're Travis Everett, you're going to make Blake Cannon use up all his stuff. And if you're Blake Cannon, you're going to maintain your stuff and try to make Travis Everett, force him into a mistake or cause him to get into the wall or, just play mind games with him because Everett's probably mirror driving at this point.
Yeah, Everett's going to have to defend his spot. He can't pass anybody. He is the leader. So he has got nothing to do but defend. It's going to be a very, very hard time to defend against the likes of Blake Cannon. Blake Cannon has been on fire here recently since he joined the Tobacco Road Cup Series. And he's got plenty of time to try to make a play inside of the championship standings. Down to the inside is going to be Blake Cannon on Travis Everett. They're side by side. Travis Everett going to set his car a little later. That's going to be a little more speed on entry. Unfortunately, that kind of negates the advantage of where his car sits on the track. When you're up high like that, it's all about the exit, not about the entry. He needs to maybe cut his speed a little bit on the entry so that way he can exit faster and maybe get around Blake Cannon. It looks like that might be exactly what he does there. And as soon as I call it, that's exactly what happened. Now, Travis Everett, he could not get all the way out in front of Blake Cannon. He does again now. So it's going to be Everett and then Cannon fully behind him again, Emmett.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, it looked like Chris Toppings had significant damage, but look at this, Mac. So Blake Cannon saw Travis Everett using that outside line, and he'll use it and rockets past Everett for the lead.
Yeah, 6 laps now to go. Blake Cannon just took the exact play out of Travis Everett's book and did the exact same thing, and it honestly had a little bit better of a result. Now Travis Everett almost seeming to reach for it a little bit there. That was not exactly the best of decisions. That lead going to be even bigger now. John Smith also behind. We cannot forget about him. And then also the championship defender, Gary Brayland, is also behind him, but Travis Everett has unfortunately just fallen off a cliff when it comes to pace. 0.3 slower that last lap. He's searching for grip, and I think he's stretching those lines out to make something out of really nothing, and I think it's just hurting him more than it's helping him. 3 laps now to go, and Blake Cannon's looking prime and looking right. 2 laps to go now. He's only got a few more times around the last great Coliseum here. Coming out of turn. Or, sorry, go ahead, Emmett.
I was going to say, all he's praying for is no caution and take him home, Mac.
Yeah, he is going to take him home just like I will around turn number 3. Through the apex and out of turn number 4. Blake Cannon, who seems to be walking on the moon right now. He can do anything, and he also wins here at Bristol.
Got to get that win for sure.
It's going to be Travis Everett finishing close behind in P2. John Smith in the 47 is going to take P3. Gary Brayland, you said it earlier, he needs to start getting better results if he wants to fight in this championship. That's exactly what he did here. He finishes this race in P4. Rounding out your top 5, going to be the 27 of James McRae, who has already took things into the pits. The fireworks out, but it's going to be a sad night for GT Irizarry. He misses out on the top 5.
Misses out on the top 5, and I mean, tough break for Irizarry. I think he thought there was going to be a caution, and that's why he came in for that pit stop, but didn't get the caution, ended up missing the spot, and just missed out on the top 5.
Yeah, so very, very unfortunate ending there for GT Irizarry, who through all the hardships and all the collections here tonight, managed to put his best foot forward, and when it comes to a point standing, P6, for everything he went through, is going to be a very, very good night.
Yeah, definitely going to be a very good night for that team, and even a better night for LNG Power Sports as Blake Cannon takes home the win number 2 for him in this year.
Yeah, it's going to be the Blake Cannon show as he's coming around Now going to maybe pull it into the pits. I'm sure he's probably already burnt it down. I apologize for missing that. But
no, you know where he's going, Mac? He's going to the ramp. Watch this.
oh, yeah. Yeah, he's he's going to go to the ramp. Yeah, he's going to go up, and we're going to see if we can get the Racer Nexus drone down there. Yeah, it looks like we might be able to. Following him up the ramp. Oh, nope, drone, you're inside of... Oh, well. That just turned out looking a lot worse than I thought it was going to look. I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, he is up the ramp. He is in victory lane. On top of a roof there. And, yeah, just so cool that the iRacing official service goes to those lengths to make, you know, the infield and the atmosphere, you know, realistic and cool. And so now, I believe, yeah, I do believe we have Blake Cannon here. He just hopped out of the car. Blake Cannon, your winner here tonight. How are you feeling?
Personally, I feel like shit, but I feel good after the race, man. It was a heck of a race. I hate Nate got caught up in a wreck. I mean, it sucks. Me and him haven't been able to really battle it all the way to the end of a race yet. I gave him a hell of a race last week at Texas, and then stepped on the last pit stop and gave him the win. So I knew it was going to be hard to fight him off, but, you know, there's always next week. But that was a good race for me and Travis.
Yeah, and you know, you said you didn't exactly feel the best here tonight. Well, you're going to enjoy to hear that next week it is indeed an off week, but then you come back to Talladega. Can you tell me, moving on from Bristol to Talladega, you're in a peak run of form right now. You're insane. You're flying out on the track. Is Talladega something that scares you, or do you think you're going to do just as good there as you have in the past?
I think Talladega is going to be one of those wild card tracks. You know, you got a lot of guys that are good at super speedways around here, and you know, you got to be really lucky to stay out of the wrecks too. So I don't know what the game plan is going to be for Talladega. I don't love super speedway racing. I wish we could stay on short tracks, mile and a half, but you know, we'll go there and we'll put our best foot forward and hopefully have a good point today.
Yes, sir. I don't want to say boring, but did the tunnel vision or maybe the leader's complacency get to you after, you know, we had those string of 3, 4, 5 cautions before we even turned a lap?
Not really, because, you know, I let Nate go early, and I was just judging my pace off of him, and, you know, I could see he was kind of pushing a little bit harder than I was, so I just rode around for the first 50, and then was really shocked to see him pit as early as he did, and then I kind of settled into a groove before the stage break. Came in, took tires, and then, you know, after that, I was just trying to play defense and just be smart. A lot of guys were driving pretty aggressive after the stage break, so also go back to the lead. I just, you know, try to ride and, you know, not wear my stuff out. But Travis didn't make it easy on me there. I mean, I let him go thinking he was going to burn his stuff up, and then it was way harder for me to pass him than I expected it. So Travis, you know, doesn't need to be hanging his head. He drove the wheels off of it, and I think he just made one mistake and allowed me to get to his outside. Other than that, I don't know if I'd be up here talking to you guys.
Well, you got the win here tonight. We're going to let you get out of here and celebrate. But before we do, Blake, is there anybody you would like to shout out or thank for the performance here tonight?
Yeah, just all the guys at LNG Power Sports, Joseph and James, they ran tonight. You know, good run to James. I know he struggled a little bit, and then Joseph had to battle adversity, but, you know, just thanks to them guys for allowing me to race for them and, you know, giving me a place to race here and there. So really super thankful for LNG Power Sports and everybody at Tobacco Road Sim Racing. These guys are really good, and I really enjoy coming to race with these guys. So thanks to them and all the admins, and thank you guys for the broadcast.
Well, thank you for the kind words, Mr. Blake Cannon. Mr. Race Winner is what we should call you. We're going to let you get out of here. Go celebrate. Have a fantastic night. Hopefully to see you back up here in 2 weeks' time at Talladega.
I appreciate it, Mac. You enjoy your off week.
And that is going to be your race winner. We now bring in your second place finisher, Travis Everett. Travis, you drove one heck of a race here tonight. You had a lot of lows, a lot of highs, a lot of adversity, a lot of cautions. Tell me, how were you able to, you know, kind of get that car into the P2 spot?
Well, it wasn't looking promising there for a little bit. I know we were caught up in a few incidents right up front up there. Everybody was running hard. I mean, really nobody's fault. I mean, kind of product of Bristol, and you got to keep track position. You got hard to get it back once you lose it here. But yeah, one spot short, little bobble there at the end allowed Blake to get to the outside of me, and I knew if he ever got there, it was going to be over. He did a little better job of saving the tires than I did. I was using too much drive off the corners there, and it started to show with about 10 laps to go.
Yeah, well, I do have to ask, man, you know, because I just feel like I do have to ask. Did you find it advantageous or was it a disadvantage to have all those cautions? Did you feel like you were doing really good in the short run tonight, or would you have liked to have a long run?
I would have liked to have a little bit longer run early on, just figure out what I needed to do, because I'm kind of come down to a long run there at the end. Well, not too long, but a little bit longer than what we had been averaging, I believe. And I'd like to see what I could have done to save a little bit of tire there at the beginning compared to what I did there at the end.
Yeah, no doubt at all. We head to Talladega in 2 weeks' time. How do you feel about that?
That's a crapshoot. I mean, I love racing at places like that, but there's no telling how you're going to run there. Anybody's got a shot as long as they can keep the car clean. But yeah, we do look forward to places like that, and I'm not one to typically want to ride around in the back. So looking to go there and go to the front. Whoever will go with me, hopefully we can stay there.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at a super speedway race. Before we let you get out of here, Travis, I gotta ask, is there anybody you want to shout out or thank for tonight's performance?
First and foremost, teammates at Outsiders. Great group of guys we got there. Had some solid runs tonight. So yeah, those guys, everybody on the admin team here that makes this thing go around, and y'all for broadcasting this thing every Wednesday night. I enjoy going back and watching these things. Y'all make it interesting to watch. So yeah, appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate the kind words. We'll let you get out of here and celebrate your P2 finisher on the night, ladies and gentlemen, Travis Everett.
Yeah, appreciate it. One more shout out to Blake there. He ran me clean, and I appreciate that. That says a lot about somebody. There's a few times there he could have ran in and run me up the track, and I appreciate him not doing that. He was patient and waited for the right opportunity, and I'll be sure to repay him if we're put in the same position behind him there.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Travis. Hope to see you back up in the booth here at Talladega. Have yourself a fantastic night.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one. Appreciate it.
And now, bringing in our final interview of the night, it's going to be P3 finisher John Smith and the number 47 Camaro. John, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, it was a night of ups and downs, a whole lot of cautions. How did it affect you? I know you got collected, I think once, maybe twice on some of the stuff. You know, how does it feel that you were able to drive it into P3? Although there were a lot of cars who actually took a lesser pit stop than you. They took 3, you took 4. So, you know, what does that say about your pace whenever you can drive up to P3 on an extra pit stop than a lot of drivers?
I got lucky. That's about it. I mean, I was just able to avoid the right accidents. There was a few accidents I was involved in. I mean, I like Bristol. I felt pretty fast. I knew I was not faster than Travis and Blake up there. As soon as I got into P3, I knew that was probably it. And if a caution came out, Gary was behind me, and he was faster than me for about 10 laps, so he would have had me. But just kind of got lucky, finding the right places. Yeah, just said the right prayer, I guess.
Yeah, well, we head to Talladega in 2 weeks' time. You got an off week next week, so you get to recuperate, relax, and strategize. Coming into Talladega, a lot of drivers think that, you know, nothing can really happen at Talladega. It's just random. It's up to RNG, to put it in a gamer term. But what do you think about Talladega, and are you going to look at it with different kind of view and maybe try to get yourself a win?
I would love to win, but I think Talladega is maybe like 20% skill and 80% luck. It just kind of depends on which way the wind's blowing, if it's going to be a good day for you or a bad day. But that's just a personal thing for me. I don't like super speedways at all. I wish I never went to any of them. Driving, like watching them on TV. I just don't like driving them. It's just not fun cruising around for 70 laps or so and racing for 2 laps. But yeah, just trying to work with my teammates, Brandon Lopez, Thomas McLaughlin. Hopefully we can get to the front. I think a new strategy we're going to try is get in the front and stay in the front and try to avoid some of the accidents and see if that works out for us this time.
Yeah, well, hopefully it does. I'll hope to see you in the booth here in 2 weeks. But before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Nap Daddy Racing, Engine 4 Coffee Company. You guys are putting on the broadcast, and for the league admins putting on the league and everything like that. I'm not sure if we have league sponsors I should be shouting out or not, but also apologies to whoever race control was tonight. I think I came across the wrong. I wasn't angry. I was just trying to figure out if it was me or not in a curious way. And after I said it, I was like, that came off a little weird, but I don't know if race control can hear it. I apologize if that came off funny. But
I'll run it by.
It
I'm sure the race control, my boss, Rob Campbell, is probably watching this, so I'm sure he heard you. So now all is good. John, we hope to see you back up in the booth here in 2 weeks' time at Talladega. You go celebrate your P3 finish here tonight at Bristol.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here tonight at Bristol. It's been one heck of a show. We'll go through your results now. Blake Cannon led the race 104 laps. He comes home in P1. Travis Everett in P2. John Smith in P3. Hard Charger went to Ira Kohlhaas in 11 positions for Boica Esports. Most laps led Blake Cannon. Fastest lap went to Blake Cannon as well. Really just the Blake Cannon show. Gary Braylon brings it home best of the rest in P4. McRae, Irizarry, McLaughlin, Lancaster, Kohlhaas, and Harris make up your top 10, going down from there. James Johnson, Brandon Lopez, Joe Bonner, John Oliverio, Chris Toppings, Scott Matthews, Chase Copeland, Nate Lesko. Hard result for Lesko here tonight. Kyler Adams in P19. Chris Perry rounding out your top 20. Thomas McLaughlin in P21. That's going to be your entire grid. It's been one heck of a night, but we must depart. I appreciate you guys coming out. Shout out to Apex Sim Racing. Use code RacerNexus for 5% off any sim racing accessory you would like to order from them. They can get it shipped to your door. Also, big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcast network. Emmett Crow was with me in the booth as soon as the race ended. He kind of left. I don't know if he had to take off or if maybe he had a technical difficulty. But Emmett Crow was here tonight. My name, Mac Nelson. And it's Bristol, baby. What more can we say? We'll see you back here in 2 Wednesdays from now for the Tobacco Road Next Gen Cup Series. We'll be at Talladega. That's going to be one heck of a show. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.